Hi, this is Mark Hauer in regards to servant leadership. A servant leader in all the areas of life can truly learn from Christ himself. Jesus taught by example, and he taught his disciples how to be a servant leader. And Jesus showed the greatest example to provide in a deliberate way what was needed for the people, and that is the need for Christ to be that gospel to impact their lives both now and eternally. When it comes to a servant leader for us, we can learn from Christ. We can realize that Christ shares with us an understanding of what it means to be a leader, and that is to understand the needs and how to bring the needs to the people. So when it comes to design, a servant leader should not be saying, "This is what I want. This is the way that I need it to be. This is the way I believe it should be. This is the way that it's going to be." But rather, a servant leader should first start by looking at the needs of others, the needs of the ministry, the needs of the school, the needs of the staff, the needs of the students. To best discover the needs, the servant leader needs to develop a team of people who can partner for the sake of the gospel, meaning that there are other people who have God has impacted with the gospel in their life and they want to use their talent to God's best ability. A servant leader looks for the best ability in the people so that when it comes to the design, it's the best design for the overall ministry, the school, the staff, the students, and the team puts it together. A servant leader learns from others and leads through that learning. The servant leader keeps the team on task, but always allowing them to use their talent. A servant leader helps others with the best gifts they have and to use them in the most effective way possible by bringing out the best in each of the team. During the design process, it's learning others' gifts, others' talents, and putting them to the best use possible. In the development stage, a servant leader understands the process by understanding the goals that have been set forth, not by the leader, but the process that is best set by understanding the goals that the team has defined, by looking at some of the knowledge of other people, by understanding the entire ministry, by understanding the school and the importance of what that school is, by taking a look at the staff, as well as the students and where those students need to be at as 21st century learners and how to engage those students to the best of their ability. The development plan puts all of this together. During the development phase, though, the servant leader assures the team that they have all the resources necessary within means that has been set forth as one of the goals to accomplish the development. During the development stage, the servant leader assures the team by giving them the data that is necessary, the data that they collect from students, from the standards, the curriculum, the ministry objectives, the vision statement that all have been placed. The servant leader makes sure everyone stays on tasks for the sake of understanding the entire ministry has to indeed grow through this development, impacting, most importantly, the students that have been entrusted into the care. Implementation. This is where the servant leader gives credit not of themselves, but credit to the entire team for coming together and working together to make a difference for God's people and for the important people that God is entrusting to care the little children or the other children. The servant leader takes what has been developed, knowing that it will meet the needs, building up the development, building up and assuring everyone that it's necessary. The servant leader assures the staff by giving them an opportunity to look through the development, to look through the entire plan, to discuss it, to talk about it, seem as though they understand their part in it. The servant leader make sure the goals are set forth in such a way during the implementation that it can show that those goals have been met. The servant leader assures the staff that they will have the time and the resources. A servant leader looks at the skills of each of the staff members, linking them and tying them together to build up and off of each other. The servant leader gives the adequate time to continue to work together. The servant leader understands the vision, shares the vision, and shows the needs being met by the vision. And that's part of the development and the implementation and the design that all gets put together. Evaluation. The servant leader must have the characteristic of patience. Patience and evaluation is indeed an important step in process to understanding how to evaluate whether things are going well or not well. A servant leader looks at how things are going on, looks at the skills of the staff member, looks at how they can make sure the staff member has everything necessary if something's not going well well as give credit and thanks constantly to the staff for what does go well. A servant leader uses the evaluation to not make themselves look good, but to make and assure that the ministry is going well and looking good. A servant leader understands that data doesn't always share everything. A servant leader in evaluation meets, discuss, talks with those involved, whether it be the students, the staff. A servant leader in the evaluation process brings that all back to the team to assure that everything is met, as well as then the constant reevaluation to assure that the needs are being met for the students, for the staff, for the ministry. Everything being put in place to assure the growth of our students, the growth of the ministry takes place to God's glory and with the best given talents that everyone has. Jesus knew the need. God designed the plan. He implemented the plan. The plan was developed. Jesus was the one to implement everything that was needed. We look out and we evaluate the plan, and we see that God succeeded completely through Jesus, through the design, the development, the implementation. And we evaluate, we see that God gave his beloved Son for us, completing the plan. We become part, though, of sharing this plan that God had given. A servant leader, when it comes to technology, design, development, implementation, evaluation, a servant leader equips others to understand the vision, the plan, the process, equipping them to be able to share with all the different stakeholders the understanding of why this is here and what is so important about the plan that has been put in place. A servant leader leads by example, learns through others, and equips the best out of everyone. That's the servant.